Good afternoon, YouTube. This is your man George Page coming to you live on YouTube. Well, like I said, it's only a few more days left of February, and it's almost the end of Black History Month. So I decided to do a little, combination of two things: a little Black History and also some bodybuilding content. Now, I lay I have before you is one Miss Iris Floyd Kyle, and she has the record of being a 10-time Miss Olympia and 7-time Miss National. She competed good part of the from her career throughout the 90s to the 2000s, and she has distinctions of being any person, both man and woman, to be hold several titles in the sport in the IFBB. Now, Iris was born August 22nd of 1974 in Benton Harbor, Michigan. She was the fifth child out of 6 kids. And coming up as a young girl, she was very into sports. She was, and like any other, like most other female bodybuilders, she had a very strong athletic background. She was in cross country running. She was a cross country runner. She played the basketball, where she was a point guard, and also played softball as a shortstop. Because she was an All-American in basketball, she got offered several athletic scholarships, But eventually, after she graduated from Benton Harbor High School, she got her basketball scholarship at Alcorn State University in Lowerman, Mississippi. Now, after while in college, she had majored in business administration and also had a minor in accounting. Now, later on, she moved to Orange County, California, where she took part in of the growing fitness craze that was going around through that time. Like, the Mecca, as you know, around that area, Orange County was the Mecca of bodybuilding. You're not that far from Venice Beach and all that stuff. A lot of bodybuilders that when you want to become a bodybuilder, something like that, or future in fitness, you go to California. That's the place you ought to be. It's like, the Beverly Hillbillies going to Beverly Hills. But anyway, noticing so many fit and healthy looking people, I decided she wanted to obtain the same look and fitness lifestyle of a sculpted physique like everybody else in that time. So she came in as a walk-in at a local gym and signed up as a member. And then later on, she became an employee. Now, while she was shooting for her dreams for bodybuilding, she was very enamored by the popular muscle mags at that time, which was Flex, Muscle and Fitness, and also Iron Man. While looking through one of the magazines, she saw a picture of considered one of the greatest female bodybuilders of all time at that time, Linda Murray, and she decided that she wanted to obtain the same muscle development as Murray. So, during one day while she was working at the gym, she was approached by a bodybuilder by the name of Butch Dennis, and Butch noticed that she had a great physique and asked her if she was willing to compete in one of his shows that he was hosting in 10 weeks, which was the 94 Long Beach Muscle Classic. Now, it was Iris' first show, and in that show, she won. After that, she met another bodybuilder named Patrick Lynn, and Mr. Lynn became a mentor and coach for Iris so she can develop her physique better. By the time she was 23, Iris earned her pro card by winning the heavyweight class and the overall at the 1998 NPC USA Championships in Las Vegas, Nevada. By 99, she competed at her first Miss International, where she got 15th place. A few months later, she placed second at the Pro World Cup, where she gained a spot for the Miss Olympia. Now, that was a year they almost didn't have a Miss Olympia because they felt like there was not enough money, couldn't sell the tickets, but they was able to scrap enough where they had enough women, they had at least 12 contestants. Iris took 4th place at that show, and it was at I think it was some kind of a convention hall in a motel in New Jersey. Now, after that, Iris competed at Miss International again, but she took 3rd place as a heavyweight. But because she tested positive for a diuretic, she was disqualified. Now, if you know anything, like we say, we talk about that about serious combat sports, that a diuretic is illegal substance to use, especially in combat sports, because what it does, it pushes the water out of your body, so you can make weight. And for bodybuilders, they need to get rid of the excess water so they're able to show their veins, so they have more vascular. So that's why we tell you, don't use diuretics and don't use PEDs. They do not help you in your development as an athlete. It's not good to cheat. Now, in 2001, she competed at the Miss Olympia, where she took the heavyweight class. Now, but she lost the overall to Janet Bergman that year. Some felt that, they understand how Bergman, who was out of the competition for almost 15 years, come back and win, where I was considered a more better physique. But as there's been an issue with female bodybuilder and size and muscularity and all that stuff. But it's how it is. Now, Iris got another shot at Miss Olympia in 2002, but that same year, former six-time champion Linda Murray came back from retirement and competed. She beat Iris in the heavyweight division and won the overall. And then Linda came back in 2003, beating Iris again in the heavyweight division and winning her 8th Miss Olympia title. Now, 2004, Iris came back at Miss Olympia, and she won both Miss I and Miss Olympia that year. The next year, she decided to focus on, for Miss Olympia, so she skipped Miss International. But she lost Miss International to Yaxini Orkin. Now, that was a year when the IFBB decided to drop weight classes for female bodybuilding, and also they put in a new policy that all bodybuilders, mostly I think it was directed towards the women, come in 20% less muscle. They're trying to make the women get smaller. By the 2000s, the women were getting bigger and bigger, but they're trying to get back to where the days were like back in the 80s and early 90s where the women were a little smaller. But the women were getting bigger. But they would never tell them the guys come out 20% muscle. They might say to them, but they didn't tell them, hey, don't come in 20% muscles. But they directed really towards the women. Now, after she came back again in 2006, winning again both Miss International and Miss O. And after that, through 2006 to 2014, she was consecutive Miss O. But in 2008, she placed 7th for Miss International. Now, in 2014, as you know, was the last Miss Olympia, and Iris became the 10-time Miss O by beating Alina Popper. Now, there's a controversy about that. Some people feel that Alina should have won that year. Some people say she should have won in 2013, but as you know, when you're the champion, most of the judges go with you. It's always been a way like that. Now, after winning 10 Miss Olympias and 7 Miss International, Iris decided to retire in 2015. But there was, as you know, after 2015, Wings of Strength took over for, women's bodybuilding. And they created the Rising Phoenix show. So in 2016, Iris wanted to come back to professional bodybuilding, and she wanted to compete at the 2016 Rising Phoenix show. But, the IFBB, and I think Wings of Strength felt like she should have competed at other shows to get a spot in the Rising Phoenix. In an interview she gave with Dave Jumbo Palumbo, she felt like, she should have been the last and former Miss Olympia. She got an automatic bye to the Rising Phoenix, and she felt slighted. But, as part of this new system, in her case, she should have been overlooked and had an automatic straight shot to, the World Championship. But anyway, she decided to, she criticized the way the treatment of female bodybuilding, and she wanted to organize a union for female bodybuilders and also ambassadors for female bodybuilders. Now, currently, Iris is with her boyfriend, and they're now focusing on multiple business deals. She's also is a personal trainer. She owns her own promotion company and runs a smoothie cafe in Las Vegas, Nevada, called the City Athletic Club. Now, she's also a real estate agent, and there's also talks about Iris coming back and competing at the 2020 Miss Olympia. As you know, last year they announced the return of female bodybuilding to the O weekend. And Iris being the former Miss Olympia and the last Miss Olympia, some feel like she should have an opportunity to compete. Now, also, there's one thing, side note that years ago, I was on an episode of a series called Wipeout. Remember, if you ever saw Wipeout, it was like it was a kind of one of those game shows where you kind of like, go through all these trials and stuff like that. And I think that was the year when the reason why, the reason why she didn't do so well in Miss Olympia, because that year she did Wipeout. I think that might have messed up her physique a little bit. There was always talk that she had kind of got like some kind of knot on her butt or something. She might have got it when she get into that dirty water. But Iris Kai is a legend. She's one of these ladies who's really changed the face of bodybuilding. I think when women were getting larger, she was one of those coming up at that time. And that was the reason why they were trying to push in the 20% rule, because of women like Iris, I would say Iris, Vicky Gates, Betty Pariso. I mean, the women was getting big by the 2000s. But like I said, there's that double standards when it comes to men and females. Guys can look freakishly large, but women can't be. But they want to be seen as athletes. As I said before in the video, Iris is with this organization in which was trying to assist another female bodybuilder to a lawsuit against the city of Columbus, because as you all know, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic dropped Miss International from the lineup. And I think even though I hear some stuff that Iris has been always about herself, about making money, but she still represents the sport, And it would be great for her to come back and maybe see how she does with this new crop of bodybuilders coming up. And there's maybe a few people she compete against. There's a good chance she might even compete against Alina Popple again. And those two had a good rivalry between 2013 to 2014. But like I said, this is a lady who is part of Black history. And she's a legend. And you know what? And I won't say she's not one of my top favorites of all time, but she's I consider one of the all-time favorite, greatest female bodybuilders. It's your man George Page. Like, subscribe. Don't like, subscribe. I'm out.